So we had a new record set for largest order by a single buyer for Japanese products. I've had larger orders for English products, but it's always fun to see big orders coming in on the Japanese products because they're a lot easier for me to keep in stock because I do have suppliers where I can just send them a message and within a few days I will have my new product in hand. English sets, obviously they typically sell a little bit faster for me, but a lot harder to come by since I don't have distribution. Because of the large order that came in, it was 36 boxes total. I had to do some rearranging. I had a lot of empty spots on the shelf, so I had to rearrange everything, make some space for some new product that I put on the shelf behind me that I just didn't have a real good spot for it before, and now it's got a home over here. Fun to see these orders come in, and I was able to chat with them back and forth quite a bit through. They had sent me an email asking me some questions and we were able to go back and forth quite a bit. Always fun to chat with new buyers, and it kind of reminded me of something to bring up that I've said in the past, but some people don't realize that if you ever are looking on my site for Japanese products and I don't carry something that you want, just send me an email. I may be able to get it for you. He wanted to check into some special order items that I don't currently have on hand. So I'm reaching out to my supplier to try to get those for him. But you know, if you're ever looking for Japanese products, those I can get my hands on. It's just a matter of, is it a price that makes sense from the Japanese suppliers relative to what they sell for here? So I should be able to help him out. I think my supplier has what he's looking for. It's just a matter of, is the price going to work out? And the way it works with the Japanese suppliers is you got to have an idea of what you're looking for. You send them a message, ask for a quote. They put together a quote for you, and it could change. Like at the beginning of the day for them, evening for us, and the end of the day, they might have different prices. So literally the prices change throughout the day, sometimes multiple times a day. And when you get a quote, you got to pay for it pretty quick because that price might change on you if you don't. So hopefully I'm able to work things out for this buyer and get things all taken care of. But I originally had recorded this whole intro and then started packing up the order before I did my rearranging. Went to edit and I realized that my microphone hadn't connected for some reason. So the sound quality was awful because I was nowhere near my phone, and so here I am re-recording it. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the video of me packing up his order, and since the audio cut out on me, I'll probably just voice over some topics of conversation, some questions that people had mentioned and wanted some answers on in a previous video. Actually, I think it was yesterday's video. I got some good feedback on topics that people would like me to cover. So while I am playing this video showing me pack up this gentleman's order, figured I'd talk through those topics. First question that I had, someone was wondering about a breakdown on how I track purchases, cost basis, and profit per item. And the short answer on this video, I can go a little deeper in the future, is I don't really track a card by card basis or profit per item. I go through too many cards, too many boxes of product that it wouldn't be feasible for me to do this as I scale my business on a card by card basis. So really all I do is in my bookkeeping, every time I make a purchase of a collection, I put that on my expenses list, and every time I make a sale, I put that on my revenue list. And at the end of the year, I just take my revenue minus my expenses, and that's my profit for the year. I have a general idea of what I paid for the cards based on, market value and the percent that I pay on collection. So that helps me price them out on eBay. I actually built a little spreadsheet calculator that I just type in the market value of a card, and it'll spit out on the other side of the formula how much I should be charging on eBay to account for my estimated shipping costs. That includes my materials and postage. and then subtracting out my eBay fees. So for example, if there's a card that I have a TCG value at $5, my little formula is going to tell me I should price it at about $6.49, because after I pay eBay their fees, I'm going to have $5.30, and then after I pay 88 cents is my total cost for a shipping label at a 1 ounce eBay standard envelope, and then my material cost. So after all that is factored in, I'm going to walk away with $4.42. So card's worth $5 after shipping and fees. I walk away with $4.42 in that example. So that's really how it plays out, how I decide what to charge for cards. Next question that came in was my shipping system. How do I choose USPS versus UPS versus FedEx, and why I prefer one over the other, or one to completely avoid? And I'm going to be totally honest with you. It comes down to cost. I haven't had additional issues with any one single provider over the other. You know, I've had, obviously everyone has some issues every now and then with the eBay standard envelope, and you have no option, obviously, other than USPS for that. But when it comes to packages, I can't say I've had a particularly bad experience with any of them. So really just comes down to cost. So on my website, I have Shippo is who I use. Shippo.com integrates with Wix, and every time an order comes in, I pull up the Shippo portal and type in the dimensions of the box, the weight of the box, and it'll just tell me all of the different companies, what their rates are to ship that box. And it really comes down to picking the cheapest one that isn't ridiculously slow. So I've actually noticed that the vast majority of my orders come from California and Florida. I don't know, there must be a lot of Pokemon fans there with money or something. So most of the time going to California, it's either going to be UPS or FedEx, depending on which part of the state is in. It seems like they all have kind of their areas where they're cheaper than the others, and they're going to provide similar speeds. So really all it comes down to is, like I said, which one is going to give me the best price for not being ridiculously slow to ship. The next question was, how do I package different orders, low versus high value, to avoid damage, returns, or scams? This one, most of the time eBay. I have more volume on eBay just because I'm listing so many cards and I have so many listings for sale. So I'm going to mostly answer this question for eBay sellers. Basically what it comes down to is anything that qualifies for an eBay standard envelope, it goes out in an eBay standard envelope. I've talked about it in the past, how I package those up. So if you've got questions, check out the videos that I have posted on how to use eBay standard envelopes. But essentially, any order that is $20 and below is going out eBay standard envelope. And any order that's under $50, where none of the single cards are more than $20, those also go out as eBay standard envelope. And the protection that I use is just putting each card in their own penny sleeve if they're more than like a couple dollars. Like if it's a bunch of $2.50 EXs, I might put those multiple cards in one penny sleeve and then in a card saver. But if you're talking illustration rares and above, every single one of those goes in its own penny sleeve and then inside of a card saver. You can get 4 cards pretty safely in their own penny sleeves inside a card saver and still send it out as a 74-cent envelope. I have done 5 cards before, but it starts to get a little bit thick doing it that way to remain flexible enough to go through the sorting machines. So you probably have to be kind of careful with trying to send those orders out as the 1 ounce option. If you start getting anything above 5 cards, you're definitely going to have to start using the non-machinable rates. So any envelope that is under 2 ounces, you can ship out as a 3 ounce eBay standard envelope order. And you just write "do not bend," or get a stamper like I have that says "do not bend," or write "non-machinable" on it. Do something so they know that it shouldn't go through the machine. And just make sure you put enough postage on it to cover that. If you pay for the 3-ounce label, it's enough to cover the non-machinable fees as long as you don't go above 2 ounces in weight. So that's what my local postal workers have told me. That's what I've been doing. I've never run into any issues with non-machinable envelopes being returned. So that covers eBay standard envelopes. Once you get to cards above $20 or orders above $50, and you're required to send it out as a bubble mailer or box, what I typically do is, if it's going to be an order that's like, I don't know, a couple $100 or less, I will still send it out in a bubble mailer. But what I'll do is I will put, again, every single card in their own penny sleeve. And then if I'm going bubble mailer, I don't use card savers anymore. Then I use top loaders. Every single card goes into its own top loader. And I've got more top loaders than I'm ever going to be able to use, because every time I buy a collection, it goes in the top loader. And most of the time when I ship them out, they go out in card savers. So slowly over time, I have more and more and more top loaders that eventually I got to get rid of. But essentially, at that point, if you get to bubble mailer or box, every single card goes in a top loader. Then I put them inside team bags. The team bags that I use can fit up to 4 top loaders. And then once I have them all in team bags, I have pre-cut pieces of cardboard that I use, and I essentially stack all the cards and sandwich them in between the 2 pieces of cardboard, and then those go inside the bubble mailer. The nice thing is that because I have my website and I'm always ordering boxes, I have small boxes on hand that are the perfect size for sending out cards. The one that I use the most is a 6x4x4 box. Getting in that $200 plus range, it's going to be going out in a box almost every time. If you're someone who's just starting out and you want to try to keep your costs down, just order the bubble mailers. I usually order 100-pack bubble mailers from Amazon, and they're, I think, about 15 to 20 cents a piece, depending on which size you get. If you're sending a more expensive card out in bubble mailers, just double it up. Use the cardboard to protect it. Make sure it's in a top loader, and it should be good. So as far as eBay goes, to protect myself from potential scam buyers, there are some block settings that you can set up to just automatically block certain people. And you also can set up a block buyers list. What I do is there's an option to block buyers who have caused cancellations or unpaid orders. And the lowest amount you can go is 2. So I wish you could go down to 1. I would automatically block anyone who was unpaid or canceled orders, period, if I could. But the lowest eBay lets you do is 2. And then what I do is I lengthen it out to 12 months. That's the longest period that you can go out. It's 1 month, 6 months, or 12 months, I believe. And so the way I have it set up, if you're a buyer who's canceled or didn't pay for 2 orders in the last 12 months, you just can't buy from my store. And then I have an automatic block buyers with a shipping address and a location where I don't ship. So I have turned that on, but I don't think I've set anywhere that I don't ship to yet. Another thing that I do is I have it turned on so that buyers are required to enter their payment method before they place a bid. That helps reduce canceled or unpaid orders by requiring them to have their payment method in before they bid on auctions. Most of the time I do buy it now, so they're forced to pay right away anyways. And then the other thing is, again, not many listings that I have allow people to make offers, but the ones that I do, they are required to provide a payment method before they make an offer. And then the last thing I do is I have a blocked buyer list. So anytime someone causes problems on my store, they just automatically get added to the block buyers list. So I've recorded some videos recently where people have disputed the conditions of my cards. And I would say over 90% of the time when that happens, it's a near mint card. It meets all the specifications of a near mint card. And it ends up being a buyer who just wants to have a PSA 10 card. And it's not going to get a PSA 10. So they force a refund. They just automatically get added to my block list because I am very careful about listing cards, making sure that I appropriately condition them. And then on the website, whenever orders come in, I literally, if an order comes in and it's more than a couple $100, I'm going to search you online and I'm going to make sure you are a real person who really lives in the city that you say your box is being shipped to. And I just make sure nothing looks like red flags there. So I think this is going to be all I have time to go through on talking through questions while I pack up the order. Keep an eye out on future videos. I'll cover more of your guys' questions, but let's get into what sold on eBay. First card sale today, we got Irida, sold for $8.99. After shipping and fees, it was $6.63. Next up, we've got the Japanese Skarmory from Paradise Dragona, sold for $3.99. After shipping and fees, it was $2.29. Next up, we've got Pikachu, sold for $6.49. After shipping and fees, it was $4.45. Next up, we've got the Baby Shiny Dolliv, sold for $3.74. After shipping and fees, it was $2.07. Next up, we've got Team Rocket's Houndoom, sold for $15.49. After shipping and fees, it's $12.10. Next up, overnight, we had a Frost Last Cell for $12.49. After shipping and fees, it's $9.57. Next up, we've got Phoebe, sold for $16.99. After shipping and fees, it was $13.61. All right, so the total eBay numbers for the day, we had a total of 8 orders, 7 of them Pokemon orders, 1 of them sports card order. Total sales for Pokemon, we had $68.18. After shipping and fees, it was $50.72. On the sports side, it was $5.99. $4.88 after shipping and fees. All in all, everything added up is $74.17. After fees and shipping, $55.60. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate the support I have been getting of late. Again, we are slowly creeping up towards that 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you are enjoying my content and you're still watching, please consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, liking the video. And as always, check the description for links to my eBay store and my website. I'm going to end here with a Bible verse. This is going to be from Matthew 11:28 through 30. Jesus says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." As always, guys, if you've got any questions or prayer requests, please feel free to reach out to me at my email, michael@covenantcards.shop. And again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. God bless.